Hi, my name is Hushmand, and welcome to Find the Gap, Fill the Gap, the key to business success. This is the first part of a series of programs aiming to help those who wish to enter the market and start up a business, or they are already in the business and feel challenges in the market. So I hope that this program will help to reduce some of the challenges of the crisis of the market. To start, let me say that the challenge for most people to start a business is to find out the right way to succeed. So how can this program, Find the Gap, Fill the Gap, helps? Let me say one example. If you want to go from a small town in Scotland, for example, where I live, to London in England, the main challenge would be passing several small roads to get to the main highway. Of course, nowadays using a navigator is not a big problem. It is relatively an easy task. Once we find our way to the highway, we will have no problem getting to London. This program is about taking you to the highway so that you can continue your journey with fewer challenges. This program, Find the Gap, Fill the Gap, helps to reduce the difficulties of starting a business, or if you have a business already, how to keep it going successfully. Also, although some people have work experience and are very good in running a business, but please remember practical experience along with scientific enterprise models conducted through research proved useful in helping to reduce the risk of failing in business. So this program aims to help reduce the risk of businesses, but also please remember, does not guarantee the elimination of risk. And if you are not a risk taker, it is suggested it is better to refrain from opening a business directly. Some people who are not risk takers, at least in the beginning, consider a partnership with someone who is brave enough to take the risk of the business. So we are mostly living in countries with a system of a free market economy. And in this first part, let's familiarize ourselves a little bit with understanding this type of market. Also its challenges and difficulties and opportunities. This is one example of challenge, market inconsistencies. This graph is about inflation in Iran, but we are seeing this kind of price fluctuations all the time and everywhere. This figure is a zigzag figure. This means the prices are rising and falling daily. Market uncertainty is the story of the life of people every day. With this kind of market inconsistencies, consumers, producers, investors, and even the government are still determining the future of the market. Planning will be a big challenge, especially for investors. Investors fear investing their money in such a volatile market. So either they don't invest and wait for the market to become more stable, or they invest in another country with a more stable political and economic condition. So this is a good example of a volatile economy. Small businesses in particular show less interest in entering such markets, and many more existing ones exit the market. Now, this slide shows the market. The actors of the market are all participants in a society. A market is a place where consumers and producers come together and exchange goods and services through a medium of exchange, which must be profitable. That medium of exchange is usually money. Now, we always had markets. The market was a part of human life for thousands of years. However, it is in the last 200-300 years that the market has become more orderly, more organized, or more scientific. Let me start with this existing model of free market economy introduced by 18th century philosophers and economists, and it is still working worldwide. It is important to note that the founder of this free market economy was Adam Smith, the founder of modern economics, the founder of microeconomics, the founder of this free market economy, and the author of The Wealth of Nations, which still is a textbook in all universities around the world. And he was Scottish. So, of course, at different degrees, this free market economy functions differently. For example, with less government intervention and much more freedom in the market, say in the USA, and with greater government involvement and less liberty in countries like China. With this slide, I look at each phase of the cycle of production of this free market economy to get some idea about its performance and its inconsistencies in balancing itself. I use here the word balance or balancing the market. This term is also used by the founders of the free market economy. And that means that this free market economy automatically reached to a balance. And the belief is that there is a minimum requirement for government intervention in the market. Government should stay away, and that's what we call it free market. It means a market without government intervention. So let's start with the needs and wants. Close to 8 billion people worldwide require goods and services all the time. How much we need and want is based on our willingness to buy and the ability to pay. Then organizations are established to respond to our needs and wants. Then the products are produced by these organizations. These products then enter the market. The market uses various techniques to attract customers and sell products. Now, the function of the market is distribution. Distribution is based on people's ability to pay. And finally, consumption. Consumption destroys production and the cycle repeats itself. And this is the story of the production, which is one of the basic principles of economics. There are 4 basic principles in economics. One is production, also distribution, and consumption, and the flow of money. But in this particular slide, we just talk about the cycle of production. Now, so what are the challenges of this free market economy? There is a crisis in every phase of this market. For example, the phase of needs and wants is suffering by those selfish, greedy, and lazy consumers with little or no consideration for other people and other places, and no regard for preserving the ecosystem. Profit motive and its maximization is the main objective of organizations. And they use various techniques to reduce cost and increase profit, and do anything to achieve this. Examples include exploitation, discrimination, low wages are paid to employees, easy access to cheaper natural resources, and causing environmental damage with no responsibility to fix it. Then many of the products produced are unnecessary, they are destructive and damaging to our health and the natural environment. The market uses various misleading advertisements and aggressive competition, especially by large firms. Distribution is the most unjust and unfair part of this free market capitalism. This is the part that has led to increasing the gap between the rich and the poor. Now, about consumption. In some parts of the world, consumption is so much that they had to develop the idea of recycling to eliminate waste. Also, consumer society has led to consumerism. Consumerism is one of the big challenges of our time. So the story of the inconsistency of free market capitalism still needs to be finished, and it is expected to be with us for some time before it can be fixed. It seems we have forgotten the ethics of the free market economy of its founders. Of course, most capitalists are aware of these challenges, and they are aware that the time has come to either fix it or end it. So this is a brief introduction of this free market economy, and in future parts, we will talk more about some of the aspects of what we have said in this part. Now, let's know more about this market. It is interesting to know that today 80% of new businesses exit the market in the very first year or even in the first 6 months. I hope this program helps you to be among the 20% of the businesses which remain in the market and progress. These are some examples of weaknesses of a business in market and the reason they exit the market. Low market share in the region, old equipments and machineries, low quality products, lack of investment, especially to buy new machineries and modern technology, lack of cooperation with foreign banks in some countries, failure to properly use human resources, and a single product or lack of what we call diversification. Also, the following factors are partly responsible, which are out of the control of small businesses. For example, economic instability or uncertainty. This is partly the responsibility of government to take action. Then the absence of a country in the World Trade Organization, and thus the lack of activity in international trade. Poverty and economic inequality, and also having a weak currency in some countries. So these are some of the issues that causing small businesses exit the market. Now, how can we open a new business, especially during economic crisis, when the market is volatile? Or if we have a business, how can we maintain it and stay in the market? Especially, we had that experience during global financial crisis in 2008, and then during the COVID-19, we have those experiences with us. So here are a few suggestions for staying in the market during crisis, or even entering the market to start up a business during a crisis. One, knowing the relative knowledge of economic crisis in a market, being aware of the reasons for the rise and fall of economic activities. Note that even if the market returns to the normal, people are still scared. It will take longer for the fear to go away. Therefore, be more careful in investing at a high level. 2, do not be misled by the news and newspapers, because many of these information given in news are either political or they are not true. Admit that you need more knowledge about the market and the economy. Therefore, in times of crisis, take a slow step and make small investment. Number 3 is the continuation. In this way, in case of failure in one part of the market, all your capital is not wasted, or your capital is well spent. Number 4, it is important to know that entering the business is risky. If you fail in business, don't lose yourself. Accept that business is risky. Don't be sad that you lost your capital. The important thing is to maintain your spirit. The problem of capital loss is short-term. The morale loss problem is dangerous and will be with you for a long time. And finally, during the economic crisis, the most important part that should be paid attention is maintaining the obligation of your life. I hope these suggestions will help, especially during an economic crisis, such as during COVID-19. Now, before entering a market and investing, we need to know and become familiar with the 4 main parts of a business. It doesn't matter if the business is a sole trader with one person in charge, or if it is a large business organizations, such as some of these multinational organizations. The following 4 activities are in place. What product do you want to sell? This is the part of production. How do you want to introduce your product in the market? This is the marketing part. How do you want to manage your business? This is the management part. And how do you deal with finances? the accounting part. As I said, it doesn't matter if there is a small business or a large business. Of course, large businesses have different departments to be in charge of every one of these activities. In small businesses, you are the boss, and you are in charge of all these activities. So it is important to know a little bit about the production, about marketing, about management, and about accounting part of a business. We will talk about all these in future programs. Now, before entering the market and investing, pay attention to these points as well. Know yourself, know the market, what is the purpose of your life, have the power to ask questions, have the power to learn, think practical, be forward-looking, be interested in working with others, and also accept that starting a business is risky. Remember, in this first part, we have repeated so many times this concept of risk. Business, friends, is risky, especially for those who are entering the market for the first time. And as I said, 80% of the businesses entering the market fail and exit the market in the first 6 months or 1 year. I hope you will be among those 20%. And with this slide, we end this first part of the program. And with the 9 steps of enterprise development. Step 1, are you happy to start a business? Step 2, do you have an idea for a business? Step 3, have you done marketing for the proposed business? Step 4, is the proposed business profitable for you? Step 5, have you made a business plan? We will talk about business plan and different parts of business plan in another part. Step 6, are you ready to accept the risk of the proposed business? Step 7, are you familiar with government laws? Again, in another part, we will have an expert in this part talking about business laws, business regulations, government laws, taxations, registration, and all this. Step 8, have you consulted your family and close friends about your proposed business? And step 9, have you included truthfulness and trustworthiness as part of your business goals? And please note that today, these 2 principles, truthfulness and trustworthiness, are the most important elements of competition in the market. So if the answer to these questions is positive, start your business. At the same time, look at these 9 steps and see what is your biggest challenge. Maybe you can pause this program for a few seconds, think about these 9 steps, and find out which one is your biggest challenge. Of course, we will talk about these challenges in future programs. The next program is about finding gaps in the market, and part 3 will be about tools that we need to fill those gaps. So I hope this first part was useful. Have a good day.